I'm 40 years old. I've been to 31 countries or something around the world, and I've loved lots of places to visit, but Colombia just feels like my family now.
Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Mi nombre es Angélica Ladinos, es la primera vez que ves uno de mis videos. Y hoy estoy con Eddie, que él es un australiano que lleva viviendo en Colombia aproximadamente 2 años y pico. Llegó acá, se enamoró de Colombia y está mostrando toda Colombia a través de su arte. Él es bastante famoso por acá en Colombia, si no lo han visto, le voy a dejar todas sus redes sociales. Y vamos a hablar sobre cómo es vivir en Colombia desde la perspectiva de un australiano, choques culturales, su arte, toda su experiencia. Mejor dicho, puro chisme, comparación, quédense por acá. Hola, Eddie.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, ¿cómo te ha ido?
Bien, muy caliente.
¿En Bogotá?
Sí, en un momento es muy caliente aquí.
Está haciendo calorcito hoy en Bogotá.
Calorcito, sí.
¿Hace cuánto llegaste a Colombia?
Yo vivo en Colombia desde hace 2 años y 6 meses, en Bogotá y Cartagena también. Cartagena para cuarentena.
Por la cuarentena, sí.
Pero más en Bogotá.
¿Y que has viajado mucho por Colombia?
Sí, mucho. 14 departments.
14 departamentos.
I always forget that. 14 departments, yeah.
¿Y cuál ha sido ese lugar que tú dices te enamoró?
Caquetá es muy especial. Es cascadas, ríos, montañas, selva, es muy especial. Caldas también, cafetero, todo. Me encanta Popayán también, sí, es en Semana Santa.
Las ferias, las
sí,
fiestas.
Procesiones, muy religioso y muy tradicional y increíble.
Es interesante porque Eddie ha conocido más de Colombia que lo que yo he conocido, pero yo creo que yo he conocido más de Australia
total,
de lo que la ha conocido pues después de 2 años viajando por Australia. Pero bueno, vamos a entrar a preguntas sobre Colombia y yo creo que las vamos a hacer en inglés para que podamos expresarnos mejor. So, desde ahora subtítulos por aquí, o un poquito de Spanglish. So tell me, which one has been those cultural shocks that you have between Australia and Colombia?
Other than the language,
yeah,
which
of course,
is the clearest one, I think Colombia and Australia culturally are very, very different. I think Colombia has got this deep traditions and things that are so Colombian, deeply Colombian, whereas Australia feels a lot more cosmopolitan, a lot more mixed,
yeah,
from influences from Europe, England, Asia, everywhere. So I think when you arrive here, I think a lot of Colombians expect you to know all of those little things, the etiquette, the rules in every area of life, but it's so different that it takes you years to even understand one of them. So,
that's true.
Yeah.
Me as I don't know, like one of the main difference, my husband, that he's Australian, he said between Colombian is, I don't know, for example, punctuality. We have a different concept of punctuality.
Yeah, Colombian time. Colombian time is a thing, yeah. It's that thing, in many tropical kind of countries.
Yeah.
Time is not as
another
rigid,
concept.
yeah, compared to Australia even. Even if you go north of Australia, as you probably would have noticed, in Darwin, people don't show up for 2 or 3 hours.
That's true.
So
it's a little bit more laid back culture.
It's to do with the weather, I think, sometimes, but also that kind of tropical vibe, I think, is a big part of it.
And what about, now that I mentioned my husband, what about dating is it very different between a Colombian girlfriend and an Australian
Very,
girlfriend?
very different. I initially thought it couldn't be that different.
Yeah.
Women are women. But it's very different. Australia's more direct, more matter of fact, and a little bit more looser, I think. Whereas Colombia, it's formal, much more formal. There's certain things you have to do if you want her to be your girlfriend.
That's true.
And if you don't do those things, she's never going to be your girlfriend.
Like which ones?
Like you have to take her on dates. You can't just invite her over. You know what I mean? Unless it's something casual, right? You have to actually go to the effort, dress nicely, do things that her pay for her. Usually, like in Colombia, most women, well, it's probably 50-50 now, but it's traditionally the women expect that the man will pay, particularly on the coast, Medellin places. In Bogotá, it's a little bit different, but whereas, in Australia, it's a lot more 50-50 with everything. A woman can chase you in Australia, you can chase them, or there's a little bit of back and forward. Here, it's like the women will give you hints, but you've still got to do the chasing. You've got to be the man, you know. You've got to be the gentleman. You've got to be the guy on the horse. Which I think it's because Colombian women have seen that through telenovelas and movies and music and their fathers. So that's what they're used to. And
yeah, it's very true.
It's kind of beautiful. I think it's...
Do you like it? Yes.
I actually like it.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes I'm like, I don't know if she likes me, or, you know, like it's a bit of a puzzle. But I think it makes life interesting rather than being so direct all the time. So
that's true.
Yeah.
What about the drama? Usually, well, my husband, he say we are a little bit more dramatic.
Yeah.
We are more exaggerating on things.
Definitely.
We put so much emotion.
It's more fiery, more passionate, more impulsive, and more rash.
That's
you know,
true.
like when Colombians hate something, they hate it, and they will just go to death with that. You know, whereas if they love something, they're fanatic.
That's
It's a country of extremes.
Yeah.
Whereas Australians are more like, yeah, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like you would never hear a Colombian say, yeah, it's okay. They'll be
No,
like,
they're-
oh, I hate that, or I love that.
And
So-
they get so argumentative about it
yeah.
and why and all the reasons and
yeah,
everything.
and they're never wrong. So that's the thing. So on my Instagram, when I draw something, and every dicho I draw has 50 different versions.
Yeah.
Literally, not even exaggerating. So people say, no, it's this, and then someone from Bucaramanga says, no, in Bucaramanga we do say that.
Well, I have been one of those comments saying, I don't do that. That's no, which Colombian is that? Well, talking about your drawings, I would like you to tell me how everything started, because you are, like, I think about your Instagram story, I know it's something Colombian there, and
Yeah.
it's so cool, and you show Colombian in a beautiful way, our food, our people, our even slang, tradition, everything. So how did
Yeah.
everything start?
Well, I first came to Colombia in 2017 for 3 weeks. I had a really good friend here, and I spent some time here and went to Cartagena and Bogota only. Loved it. And then I knew I wanted to come back to Latin America and visit Colombia again. So the second time I came back, it was just before the pandemic. And so I arrived literally on the doorstep of the pandemic here. But during lockdown, because everyone was on their phones, I managed to really tap into my Colombian audience in that time. I think it was this perfect storm.
Timing,
Yeah, perfect timing that may have taken a bit longer otherwise. So I didn't expect for people to know who I was within 3 months of me being in Colombia. I thought I'm just going to be another foreigner in a country of 55 million people. But I get recognized in the street now, and it's so surreal for me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't happen in Australia, but in Colombia they recognize me in restaurants, in Caquetá, in San Andres, everywhere. It's really cool, and I think because I'm 40 now, so I don't let it go to my head. I don't think I'm like some sort of king or rock star. I just enjoy the love and try and put that into my drawings.
And which one had been one of your favorite drawings that you said, oh, I really like this one, I show a lot of Colombian here?
I think the ones that I'm loving at the moment is the Literally Nobody series, where I say, literally nobody Colombians, which is obviously a very popular meme, and then I have some drawing about a strange Colombian food habit or combination.
Yeah.
Sopa con banano, or
La ponimalta con leche condensada.
sí,
That
queso
was
en chocolate.
rico.
Muy raro.
Sí, sí, muy raro. Pollo frito con miel. con guantes. So there's so many.
Yeah.
And I even asked my audience the other day, I said, hey, have you got any more of these weird food? And I've got hundreds.
Oh yeah, we'd like to ask you, how did you come up with those ideas? Because it's so strange. Sometimes I read or I see your work and I'm like, I don't even remember to do that. Like,
it's really the followers who tell me. I mean, I've got really good friends here, and my assistant's Colombian, my best friend's Colombian. So they'll every now and then they'll tell me. But I'm coming up with stuff that they didn't even know.
Yeah.
Because of my followers are saying, hey, did you know we have choclitos con leche condensada? And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. And then when 20 people tell you that, or 30 people tell you that, this is a pattern,
Yeah.
And then I tell my friend, she's like, I didn't know about that.
that's very interesting.
So yeah, the follower interaction is really important for me because I want it to be true, authentically Colombian. I want them to relate to it. So I think some things are interesting from the outsider's point of view,
yeah.
but then other things I want them to be from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I get you.
and it's funny when people question me because they think, oh, well, he's a foreigner, so clearly he's got it wrong.
But
then
actually you're
50
right,
people
yeah.
told me it's right. So
But
Yeah.
every time I see his art, I kind of get very proud of what.
That's
like,
cool.
I don't know. It feels very
yeah, I
nice.
want it to be good vibes. Yeah, buenas vibras, as J Balvin says. So I
Buenas
like to,
vibras?
yeah, I like to have that good vibe, because for so long the perceptions around Colombia and
It's a negative
have been
way.
negative. And yeah, I love, because I think the vibes that Colombia gives me have been positive.
Yeah.
I haven't found myself feeling unsafe or threatened here that people would have you want to believe,
Yeah.
So I like to reflect that in my art, that I'm in love with Colombia, so my artwork is like constant love letter. Little details, little funny things, sensual things, flavors.
I mean, I am Colombian and I have been living overseas for 6 years, and it's just such a beautiful feeling when I see your art and I'm like, oh yeah, we do that, we are like that, and it's nice to see how you try to show a different Colombian than the one we usually see.
Yeah, I think, and Australia's quite different in that way, isn't it? Because if I was drawing about Australia, Australians wouldn't care. Whereas Colombians really care, and they're very proud.
That's
And
true.
my friend said that my Colombian friend's theory is that Colombia has an inferiority complex within the world because of all of these bad past things.
Yeah.
Or some of them in the present still, but so he thinks that Colombians they want to be loved.
Yeah.
So when they get love, it's like they really appreciate it.
That's true.
Argentina, if I was drawing about Argentina, I don't think they'd really care. They're like, yeah, we know we're good. Mexico, yeah, we know we're good. Whereas Colombians like, yes, we are good, see?
I think that's kind of a true in a way, because as a Colombian, every time you see something related to Colombia and it's a good thing, you're like, yes, that's true.
That's not Pablo Escobar or that's not
we are
Garilla
more
or-
than that.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's nice. Okay, what about, I would like to ask you financially.
Sure.
You are from Australia, you live here. How do you manage to...
So my work is as an illustrator, obviously.
Okay.
So I do different jobs for different clients in different countries.
Okay.
So before I came here, I worked really hard on a few projects, saved up a lot of money. So when I came here, that in case I didn't get any work here, I could, be okay. But as it turned out, I've had more work. I get more work weekly here than I did in Australia.
Really?
Yeah, and that's more been a recent thing. It took me a year to do, or 2 years even, but because a lot of the Colombians that commission me and order custom drawings are Colombians in the USA.
Exactly.
Because they've got more expendable income,
that's
and
true.
they miss Colombia. They're proud of Colombia, so they want something to represent that. So that happens a lot. Whereas earning money within Colombia is still a challenge, but because I've got a few different streams of revenue coming from Australia and USA and that, I can usually
Make a living from
make a
that.
living. And that's the thing, is like, the stuff you see on Instagram is my personal stuff, but what I don't post is all the
Your
jobs, like that I'm working 9 to 5 on most days. So no, I work very hard as an artist, and I think that I like people to know that you can
make a living.
You
from
can
it
make a
and
living. You just have to be very kind of inventive about how you do things. And the fact that I found this audience in American Colombians, it was an accident, but now I'm like, well, that's a great way to for me to earn a living here as well. So
That's good. So it is something that we call digital nomad now.
Yeah.
That's very good.
yeah, exactly.
And what about something you don't like about Colombia or Colombians? Because it's not everything perfect. or it
No,
is?
I think that one thing Colombians can do, which sometimes can be not disappointing but frustrating, is the puro tilín tilín, nada de paleta, which in many aspects, even for jobs, they'll contact you, Eddie, we want to work with
That's
you.
true.
We've got this thing, oh great, yeah, Eddie, we want to do a book with you, yeah, great, and then they disappear for 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 months, 6 months, but they usually bob up. So Australians, if they're not interested, you'll never hear from them again. But Colombians pop up again. Oh, hi, how have you been for the last 6 months?
And that's not just, it's in everything.
It's in relationships, it's in friendships. I mean, it's a little bit frustrating, but I think now that I get it, that it's a cultural thing, I don't take it personally. Whereas the first few times that happened, I thought, don't they like me? What's happening here? But then I realized that it's nothing to do with you. It's all to do
It's
with
the
the culture.
Yeah.
And it's like you were saying about the Colombian time. It's the same thing. So that's probably one thing that frustrates me. I mean, the other thing that frustrates me, as it would frustrate Colombians, is processes here. You know, compared to somewhere like Australia, where you can get in a call center, problems are fixed.
Yeah.
In Colombia, you've got to go to an office. You can't do it online.
It's a lot of paperwork.
The website's not working.
Yeah.
The apps are not working.
Nobody answers.
Nobody answers. Then they put you onto something. So there's this feeling of that's the difference, isn't it? But that's what happens. I mean, developing countries or third world countries, as all of Latin America is technically, those processes are just
hard.
Yeah. But I'll put up with that for all the beautiful things.
Is there any? What are your favorite Colombian slangs or our expressions? Or
Puro tilín tilín. No, there's one. That's one. The one I love at the moment is, you know, when someone's really like tacaño.
Tacaño.
Stingy. Is like tighter than a salchicha's culo. You know.
Más amarrado que culo salchichón.
Sí.
Dios mío, hace mucho no digo esa expresión.
Is perfecto because it sums up exactly what it is, and so I draw a picture of that, and it's exactly
so
what it is.
Yeah, it's easy to represent that.
Colombians are very visual people. Like all of the expressions, they're very silly.
Yeah.
But I think that's Colombian humor. It's silly humor.
Yeah.
It's not like European humor. It's very different.
Yeah, that's true.
It's silly,
Simple.
self-deprecating and silly and kind of childish in a way that I love.
Yeah, that's true. Do you see yourself living in Colombia?
Absolutely. I honestly can't see myself living anywhere else.
No.
Now, like I'm 40 years old. I've been to 31 countries or something around the world, and I've loved lots of places to visit, but Colombia just feels like my family now. It feels like they've taken me, you know, they've adopted me, and I wouldn't want to. At this stage, I can't see myself living anywhere. I want to travel and see lots of Latin America and other places, but this is my home.
Oh, thank you so much. It's so nice to see. I know Colombia through your eyes, because sometimes we as a Colombian we just sometimes see the bad things more than the good things.
And I think a lot of Colombians want to leave.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. Yeah, and I can understand why Colombians leave. I know that there's lots of
different
problems.
qualities, yeah.
Money, opportunity, security, a lot of things. But I think all of the Colombians that leave, they know that Colombia also has this magic that is very, very unique. And it's not like every single place has that.
Definitely. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Oh, well, I'm going to leave you all Eddie's Instagram and all his
Twitter,
website, everything to
Facebook,
follow him, and please follow him and love his artwork.
Interact.
Of course. He's a very nice person. And his Spanish is improving, so if you want to help him to practice his Spanish, that will be so good. Y muchas gracias por el ratico, por la charla. Gusto. Y gracias por lo que estás haciendo por Colombia.
Feliz día.
Bueno, chao. Okay. Oh my goodness. Spanish or English? Spanish at the beginning and then we swap. Spanish.
That'll be part of the adventure.